Two wrongs don't make a right. Two injustices don't make justice. That's Mr. Michael Morton being led off to prison for the first time. You just heard from him. Who am I and why does this matter to me? Well, I'm either Barney Fife or I'm Batman. I'm a former correctional officer turned police officer turned prosecutor. You can see the rest. But why this matters to me is that this is my life. Since 2001, it's everything that I've done. I want my life to be about justice and not error. Anybody who's spent time in this system that knows that anybody who understands the justice system knows innocent people are convicted every day. I'm not here to tell you that it's an overwhelming problem, but it is a problem, and one life in prison wrongfully is one too many. TYLA went to bat this year to try to do something to solve this problem, and we came up with www.tylajusticeforall.com. It's a project that goes over the reasons, and they'll span through this as we go through the PowerPoint, of why people are wrongfully convicted and attempts to teach prosecutors and defense attorneys alike how to change that. You can hear stories like Juan Melendez's, who's there in the corner, tell about how false testimony got him convicted. Do they do it on purpose? They don't mean to necessarily every time. Those are some of the reasons they give false testimony on purpose. But sometimes they just merely don't realize that they've got the wrong guy. Prosecutorial misconduct. This is Anthony Graves and his time in prison for something he didn't do. He was largely the product of a prosecutor that simply wanted him convicted. I don't think that's an overwhelming problem. I hope so, being a prosecutor, but it is a problem. As a former cop, I can tell you tunnel vision is one of the issues that we need to address. Too many times our system goes at certain people to prove that they're guilty rather than trying to investigate to find out what happened. We cannot do that and have a fair justice system. False convictions, it's crazy, but people do it. This guy in particular was interrogated for 7 hours while high on methamphetamine. He was later found to be innocent of something that he testified or he gave testimony to having done. Forensic error, junk science. That is the only three things that a hair can tell about a person, basically what race they may be from. But yet it was used to put people in prison for years and to exclude people. And why I'm really talking to you about this today is because I have a room full of lawyers. And it's my belief that inadequate defense is a lot of times the reason for wrongful convictions. Juan Melendez's story is the perfect example. The man was on death row. All the while, there was a box sitting in his original defense attorney's office that contained an audio tape, of another person confessing to a crime. But sometimes it's not just that. Sometimes it's about what we allow the defense to do. Who holds the power? Who holds the money? The Fair Defense Act tells what poor people in our state have a right to. But unfortunately, leaves some very critical issues out. Very critical. And in a year I spent in defense work, I learned some of those. Judges are in this to protect themselves professionally and politically. They want to keep things cheap, and they want to clear their docket. They are not interested in whether this particular defendant gets an adequate defense or not. This is an actual fee structure from an area I worked in. You'll notice that no matter how hard you work, if the plea bargain is reached in the end, that's what you're paid. And I was personally cut for more than 30 hours of work in a 25 to 99 life case because the judge refuses to pay more than 10 hours for defense work, no matter what. Judges run the wheel. Judges decide if you file a mandamus, for God's sake, or if you file extra motions or do anything on behalf of the defendant, whether they'll pay you or not. Real life examples, I've gotten cut to 10 hours. I've been told that I can't investigate my own case because they won't do more than 2 travel payments. You can use the state's expert, that's the wrong word, and they say, well, the state's expert will be fine. And most importantly, they just blanketly tell you that there's not an investigator for you. They'll assign you one for 3 hours or something of that sort. It's time for change. I think judges need to be removed as the gatekeepers. I think that we need to use the indigent defense coordinators in each county to assign competent attorneys and to pay according to a fee schedule that's set. Judges that are predisposed to political parties shouldn't be making those decisions. I only had 5 minutes. I could talk about this for hours, and I'd love to talk to you. There's more information at tylajusticeforall.com, and that's at my email. Thank you so much for the brief 5 minutes I got to share with you.